Everybody, it's Mike from Western New York Tennis. Thanks again for joining me. Appreciate all the subscribers that we've had lately. Super exciting to see everyone's engaging with the content. I'm happy to do it. Don't be afraid to like, subscribe. Again, after this video, again, the comments are super helpful. One of our last comments actually is where I'm taking this video. So we got a question, a great question about how and when you should be speeding up through your impact. So I pulled up a clip here of Ryan Harrison and Grigor Dimitrov. Again, these are awesome tapes to see, awesome videos to see what these guys are doing on the practice court. Especially when they're hitting at a slightly slower tempo, you can see a little bit more. Also, I love these angles. It's just easier to observe and pay attention to what's actually happening, as opposed to watching a live match on television. So anyways, we'll kick it off here. On the bottom we have Ryan, top is Grigor. So the question is how and when you should be speeding up when hitting the ball. So first, number one is when I roll this clip, you're gonna notice and pay attention to how loose and smooth these guys are when they're hitting. As they're hitting, you're gonna notice that the amount of fluidity comes from their ability to stay fluid and relaxed from beginning to end, right? So if you're a player that tends to be a little bit herky-jerky when you're hitting, a lot of that is going to come from tension. It could also be bad timing as well, but a lot of it is the fact that we're typically over squeezing. So a simple way to test it is if you're squeezing your grip as hard as you can, we'll call that a 10 out of 10. If the racket's falling out of your hand, it's a 0. So you should be somewhere in the 3 to 4 range when striking the ball. You want it just taut enough to stabilize the racket, but not loose enough where the racket's actually going to come out of your hand. And you'll take notice of that here. It almost looks like their hands and arms look like spaghetti noodles. So that's the very first thing. If you don't have that foundation of being able to be relaxed and play with fluidity, that is going to hold you back from being able to be smooth, have good timing, as well as being able to effectively use your kinetic chain to evenly distribute the energy through your body appropriately. I'm going to go to another clip here. So that was just kind of when they first started playing. So it's a relatively slower tempo. So in this next clip, they've obviously been hitting for 4 or 5 minutes. They're a little bit more warm. The tempo is increasing. So this is where we can start to see a bit more of when they're speeding up. So if you pay attention here, as they're hitting, everything is relatively slow up until moments before impact. So the preparation, the unit turn, whatever your coaches are using to call it, in terms of their coiling, it's relatively a slower tempo there, and then it accelerates at the last second. Slow, and then it accelerates there. So where that acceleration is coming from, as I mentioned in the first video, you have to be loose. Otherwise, if you have any tension, you're going to actually stop any type of acceleration that you're trying to create. But secondly here, if you watch as they're hitting, there's a pre-stretching phase that happens right here with the shoulder. So Grigor is actually beginning to coil his shoulders, his trunk. It's the same concept as pulling back a rubber band. He's creating a pre-stretch. He's creating elastic energy, which is then now beginning to then load, okay, his right leg, his right knee, his right foot here. And what you're going to notice is as he distributes his energy, this is how he's creating more speed. He's going to be pushing off his right leg, and you're going to see that his right knee begins to pivot in here, right there, okay, which then opens up his hips, which then opens up his torso. So this is the unwinding effect that takes place when you essentially when you pull back the rubber band and you let it go, this is what's happening. So this is part of the kinetic chain in that order. So the pre-stretch starts from the shoulders. I'll kick it back here. Okay, right there. So there's the pre-stretch. This is a different shot, but same concept, right? The load again is happening on the right leg. Okay, as he drives off his right leg, the knee is going to turn in. There it is, which then opens up the hip. This facilitates the torso to then uncoil, unwind, all right? And then, of course, the fact that he is staying loose is going to then appropriately distribute that energy that he's creating from the ground into the shot here. So that's how they're doing it. Now, the harder Grigor presses and turns into the shot with his legs and hips, okay, that is what's determining how he's creating a little bit more speed. So if he's trying to maybe back off on the shot a little bit, or if he's trying to accelerate a little bit more into the shot, he's essentially going to be creating more force off of that right leg, which then propels the unwinding, the uncoiling of the shot to then speed up. Okay, but again, remember guys, you have to stay loose first. If he was tight here at any point of the swing, it's essentially going to put the brakes on what he's trying to do. And not only in doing this will this help you speed up, but it also helps you create better timing in keeping your impact out in front. This is a perfect still shot. You can see that he's appropriately unwound, okay, his upper body, and now you can see how nicely his timing is. His impact is well out in front. Spatially, he's in perfect position between the ball, and this is what essentially allows players to speed up or maybe take a little bit off the shot. So two things today, guys: have to be relaxed, and secondly, you have to go through those sequences of pre-stretching the upper body with the shoulder turn, the torso coil, then creating the load in the right leg, assuming you're right-handed and you're hitting a forehand, and then appropriately driving off of the right leg, turning that knee in, which then opens up the hips and creates the opening up or the unwinding, uncoiling effect of the shot. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, please comment below. Again, the comments are hugely appreciated, and that's what helps me create new videos. So feel free to leave a lot of feedback, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Have a great weekend, guys, and stay tuned for more. Thanks so much.